Good evening. You're watching the news at 6 with me, Shan Russell. The news at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories. And one of the big developments that happened today were, of course, the by-poll. The results were out today, and the larger political ramifications of those results we'll be talking about with a special guest as well. But first, the headlines we're tracking right now. Ahead of the midnight deadline to repay its debt, Greece headed for a loan default. Defiant Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras says he won't pursue austerity at any cost. Jayalalitha wins RK Nagar seat to return as Tamil Nadu Chief Minister in 5 other by-poll contests. The CPM and the Congress win 2 seats each. BJP retains Garod in Madhya Pradesh. Enforcement Directorate approaches Singapore and Mauritius for help on letter rogatories from IPL Chairman Lalit Modi. Corruption allegations against another Maharashtra minister. State Finance Department objects to a 191 crore fire extinguishers contract cleared by Education Minister Vinod Tawde. And India overcomes opposition from China, brings Pakistan under monitoring of the Asia-Pacific Group. Decision to allow UN to enforce terror offensive-related sanctions. A top story this evening. Hours before a default, Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras declared that he will quit if the snap referendum next Sunday doesn't go his way. He said a clear vote against austerity would help Greece negotiate a better settlement to the ongoing crisis. Meanwhile, the European Commission made a last-ditch bid to save Greece from an exit, persuading Tsipras to accept the bailout deal by the EU.
Time has almost run out for Greece to avoid default, failing to repay a huge IMF loan by Tuesday. Yet, a defiant Greek PM, Alexis Tsipras, stands firm on his decision. He refuses to pursue austerity even if Greece votes yes on the referendum planned later on Sunday to decide Greece's future in the Eurozone. He said he would rather resign. At the same time, Tsipras said he is ready to talk to the European leaders. And if EU offers a deal even on Tuesday night, Greece would pay its debt on the day of the deadline.
Με σχέδια λιτότητας που θα μας οδηγήσουν στο να μην σηκώσουμε κεφάλι, στο να φεύγουν κατά χιλιάδες οι νέοι άνθρωποι στο εξωτερικό, στο να έχουμε ουραία της ανεργίας και ξανά να πηγαίνουμε σε νέα προγράμματα και νέα δάνεια. Αν αυτή είναι η επιλογή, τότε θα τη σεβαστούμε αυτή την επιλογή, δεν θα την υπηρετήσουμε εμείς.
Not losing hope, EU made a last-minute attempt to persuade Greece to accept the bailout deal. Reports suggest that EU Commission Chief Jean-Claude Juncker has offered to convene an emergency meeting of the Eurozone finance ministers to approve an aid payment to prevent Athens from default. But only if Tsipras sent a written acceptance of the bailout terms offered by EU earlier.
It is time for Greece's political leaders to shoulder their responsibility, to tell their people what is really at stake.
Αυτή είναι η εκτίμησή μου. Αλλά προφανώς ο καθένας μπορεί να κρίνει τις εκτιμήσεις και να κρίνει και τις αναλύσεις. Με ρωτήσατε όμως κάτι και απαντώ. Την εκτίμησή μου θα σας πω. Ότι δεν είναι το σχέδιο.
The Greek Interior Ministry has released a sample ballot for the bailout referendum set to take place on July 5th. Greeks will be asked to decide whether their government should accept the proposals put forward by the EU and IMF lenders. Thousands rallied on streets supporting Tsipras, rejecting creditors' demands.
Η Ελλάδα βρίσκεται στο πιο κρίσιμο σταυροδρόμι της σύγχρονης ιστορίας της. Αντιμέτωπη με την προοπτική μιας πιθανής καταστροφής.
As the clock ticks away, all eyes are on the EU leaders and Tsipras, whether they can work out a last-minute deal to end the crisis. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And hoping for a last-minute deal for Greece, the markets reacted positively. The crisis has sparked a sharp fall on Monday. The Sensex recovered from the loss today by gaining 135 points, ending the day at 27,780 points. The Nifty also ended 50 points up after a loss of 63 points on Monday. However, oil prices fell in Asia today, tracking the sell-off in global equity markets on fears of a Greek debt default. Asian markets and Europe faced sell-offs at the start of the week after Greece broke off deadlocked talks with creditors over the weekend. Well, a focus story for this evening, and there was no major surprise in the results of the by-polls to 6 assembly seats in 5 states today. AIDMK chief Jayalalitha won the RK Nagar by-poll by a huge margin to ensure that she stays on as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. The CPM won both the seats in their traditional bastion of Tripura, where the BJP though dislodged the Congress from second spot. Here are the details.
When Jayalalitha returned as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, she needed to win an assembly seat before 6 months from her acquittal in the DA case. A fellow AIADMK leader stepped down to pave way for her chance to ensure that. And she sailed to victory by a margin of 1,50,000 votes. However, this euphoria could be short-lived if the Supreme Court rules against the Karnataka High Court order when it hears a plea against her acquittal next week. There were 5 other assembly seats at stake in 4 states. In Tripura, CPIM proved it's still strong enough by winning both seats. For the BJP, though, there was a silver lining even in a loss. The party toppled Congress from the second spot. It also retained the Garod seat in Madhya Pradesh. Meanwhile, Congress wrested the Chokot seat from GNC in Meghalaya and retained the Arvikara seat in Kerala for the UDF.
10,000 majority Congress candidate, UDF candidate Sri Shabarinath has won that election. This is a clear indication for the future elections of Kerala. Also, this reflects on the negative politics played by the left parties, especially the main opposition, the CPM, RSS party.
Congress's Kerala MP Shashi Tharoor attributed the win to the young party leader K.S. Sabrinathan. The victory comes at a crucial time for Congress when it's confronting an array of corruption allegations in the state. The win could also boost the morale of the alliance facing anti-incumbency in the state assembly polls next year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And KV Prasad, Associate Editor at the Tribune, now joins us to help us understand the results of these by-polls pretty much along expected lines, Mr. Prasad. But if we were to take larger indications coming out of these by-polls, then what would they be?
Well, I think for the time being, we should look at the fact that majority of by-polls have, if you look at the larger trend in this country, has been that the ruling party or the ruling alliances continue to maintain their winning streak. That has been the case, except probably in Meghalaya, where there was a Congress had wrested the seat. That indicates that, and of course, Jayalalitha's victory cannot be a surprise to anyone at all. Right. And the manner in which she literally, the party AIDMK candidate got so many votes that nobody could save the deposit speaks about the kind of popular support she enjoys with the people. And that has what has again been reflected again in this vote. I think, so that's why, having said that, for Kerala, the Congress, the message, as we just heard Mr. Chacko says what he said, but that's a little too early to say whether this is going to be the trend as Kerala goes into elections next year. Because, of course, there is the CPIM-led left front, which has its share. We'll have to wait and see in Kerala.
All right, but if you talk about the performance of the BJP, given the fact that after 2014, after that landslide victory in the Lok Sabha polls, the people have been expecting the BJP to really pick up, and the party has done so. I mean, even in Kerala, the vote share has significantly gone up. In Tripura, for that matter, it displaced the Congress from the second spot, though it did not win that particular seat in Tripura. So, in that sense, how would the BJP's performance, because the BJP has been trying to create inroads into newer territories, the membership drive has been on, and of course the central government they have.
Well, of course, the Tripura can be seen in a different light vis-a-vis the BJP. There is an attempt, as you rightly said, that the BJP wants to expand its base, not just because it has been earlier. It was talked about a party largely being in pockets and particularly in the north or portions of the west, but that has expanded. The last Lok Sabha elections have shown it. But yet in Kerala, for instance, Mr. O. Rajagopal, who was a former union minister, could not do so well as he would have probably anticipated. That is something which the BJP will have to really look at it, because at one point of time, post-elections in 2014, people were talking whether the BJP could emerge as another party in the southern state. So we have, that is one area where the Bharatiya Janata Party will have to look at it. Tripura may be some shoots of greenery for the BJP, but local factors, but CPIM continues to dominate.
All right, so final question. I mean, we've talked about the larger message, and you're saying right now the larger message seems that whichever government is in power, that particular seat has been going more or less going according to that trend, except for Meghalaya. But if we were to take a message for the upcoming polls, for example, for that matter in Kerala. Now, Kerala, I think, is expected to go to the polls in 2017. So, and the Congress government has had a lot of allegations of corruption going against it. So, do you think, in terms of a trend, one should read into it, or is it too early for the assembly elections that come up later?
I personally feel it's a little too early. Of course, the ruling coalition can claim credit that despite the number of allegations that the party is facing, people have reposed faith in the party and its candidate. But do not forget the person who has won the seat. Of course, you just heard that message from Mr. Tharoor. But it also he's the son of the person who held the seat. So there is a certain element of personal factor that one needs to count at. And all the bigwigs of the Congress party actually put in a lot of effort in that particular elections. Mr. A.K. Antony, one of the senior most leaders from Kerala, had also gone and campaigned. Mr. Tharoor was there, so was the party chief minister. So the party threw its weight behind the seat, and that was evident in the results.
All right, the Congress, of course, is rather desperate for political capital these days, given the fact of its performance in 2014. But still, silver lining over there, winning a seat in Meghalaya as well, resting that away. So that was the big change in the by-poll results. But KV Prasad, thank you very much for coming in and helping us understand the results a little better. Well, moving on, staying with news about the Congress, the party today dismissed all denials by the BJP on the ownership of the Dholpur Palace, insisting that Rajasthan Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje should be sacked for a criminal nexus between her family and former IPL boss Lalit Modi. The party released fresh documents to prove its claims. Meanwhile, the Enforcement Directorate also stepped up its investigations into a case involving Lalit Modi.
The Enforcement Directorate took forward its case against former IPL chairman Lalit Modi. On Tuesday, it sought legal assistance from Singapore and Mauritius. The ED is investigating the alleged laundering of funds in awarding media rights by the IPL in 2009. On the political front, the Congress also flagged more details on the Dholpur Palace controversy. Senior party leader Jairam Ramesh reiterated that available documents indicate that the palace belonged to the state government.
धौलपुर पैलेस, धौलपुर महल सरकारी संपत्ति है जिसको वसुंधरा राजे जी, उनके बेटे, उनके बहू और ललित मोदी ने एक निजी जायदाद के रूप में बदला है.
In a spirited press conference, the Rajasthan BJP refuted the allegations.
अगर दस्तावेजों से वो प्रमाणित कर दें कि धौलपुर महल की मलकियत के अंदर किसी प्रकार की अनियमितता है या वो धौलपुर का महल सरकार का है, तो या तो वो राजनीति से संन्यास ले लें या मैं राजनीति से संन्यास लेने को तैयार हूं.
Lies have been nailed by the Rajasthan BJP yesterday in a press conference. They have established that that Dushyant Singh has the complete authority in converting this palace into a hotel, and the Congress party leadership, particularly Jairam Ramesh, who addressed the conference yesterday, has been completely missing.
The Congress is claiming that Rajya's son Dushyant was compensated to the tune of 2 crore rupees on a highway project built on government land around the Dholpur Palace. Other opposition parties question Prime Minister Narendra Modi's silence on the controversy.
BJP as a political party is in crisis. The Narendra Modi government is in crisis because what Sushma Swaraj has done, or what Vasundhara Raje has done, or what Smriti Irani has done is a gross violation of probity in public life.
An ED team from Mumbai is reaching Singapore to gather leads in connection with alleged foreign exchange violations. Modi and 13 other BCCI IPL officials and other private entities are named in the deal. The ED, in a show-cause notice issued in February this year under the Foreign Exchange Management Act, charged Lalit Modi with sending fraud emails and being a suspect beneficiary of illegal funds worth 125 crore rupees. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The days after the Pankaja Munde quoted controversy over awarding contracts without following due process, another minister of the Maharashtra government is facing similar allegations. Education Minister Vinod Tawde has been accused of awarding the contract for providing fire extinguishers to government schools without issuing tenders.
Education Minister Vinod Tawde has become the second minister of the Maharashtra government to be caught up in a controversy regarding financial irregularities in the award of contracts. Tawde is alleged to have awarded the contract for fire extinguishers for schools without a tender being issued. Following the accusations, the opposition Congress came out on the streets of Mumbai demanding the resignations of both Tawde and Pankaja Munde.
This is why we don't believe in the Chief Minister's office, and we never expected that it would happen that suo motu there will be an inquiry, because all the documentation is with him. So that is why we have opted to give all the documentation what we are having, whatever we have got from RTI and various other sources that we have submitted to the ACB, and we demand an open inquiry.
But the ruling BJP is standing firmly behind its ministers. State Finance Minister Sudhir Mungantiwar, whose department raised objections to the said contract, says there is no cause for controversy and that it was just a conspiracy to defame the government.
अगर पैसा देना रहता तो वो तो 2 दिन में दिया गया रहता, 10 दिन में, क्योंकि पैसा था, पैसा व्यवगत हुआ, फिर भी 1 रुपए नहीं दिया. तो मुझे लगता है जहां इतनी नियत स्फटिक की तरह पारदर्शिता के साथ साफ हो, उस पर ऐसी शंका लेना ये राजनीतिक षड्यंत्र है.
सर 191 तो छोड़ो, हमारे पास जो 16 करोड़ शिक्षा डिपार्टमेंट का बचे थे उतनी भी हमने खरीदी नहीं की. हमने तो उल्टा हमारे पास जो पैसे थे उससे हम 16 करोड़ की परचेस कर लेते तो भी फाइनेंस ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं लेता.
In January this year, the Finance Department of the state had stopped a 191 crore rupee purchase order for fire extinguishers for government-run schools, an order issued by Tawde's ministry. Tawde rubbishes the allegations, saying no money has been paid so far. BJP's alliance partner Shiv Sena has said the ministers should not be scared of an inquiry if they were innocent, also saying that it favoured their stepping down for now. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, time for us to take a very quick break. Coming up on the other side, in a first, the Islamic State has reportedly beheaded 2 women in Syria and have made inroads into Afghanistan as well. More on that on the other side.
Allowing foreign firms into the legal sector. A long-pending issue in focus again. What checks must be drawn up, and how would the move impact the justice system? Watch the big picture at 6:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, former Minister of State for Coal, D.N. Rao, who was also accused in the coal blocks allocation scam, has once again brought former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh into the dock. Rao has levelled serious allegations against the former Prime Minister, saying all decisions regarding allocation of coal blocks were taken by Singh since he was heading the coal ministry at that point in time. Rao was speaking to the media outside the Patiala House Court in Delhi, where he appeared in connection with the Amarkonda Murgadangal coal block allocation case. Congress leader and industrialist Naveen Jindal and former Jharkhand Chief Minister Madhu Kora are also among the 14 accused in the case.
I'm a minister, but I'm an MOS. So all powers, allocating the blocks, power is only with the coal minister. Then coal minister is Mr. Manmohan Singh.
In a very indirect way, Mr. Dashri Narayan Rao has pointed fingers towards the Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh then. That Manmohan Singh was in know-how of how the coal scam was conducted, and he should be the one who should be interrogated, who should be questioned for the coal scam. The big question is who was being benefited out of this coal scam, because Manmohan ji, after all, was a shadow Prime Minister.
Mr. Dashri Narayan Rao is implicated in the case and he is standing trial before the court. I don't think his words carry any meaning.
And now for more updates from across the country, here's Nationwide. The Bombay High Court has allowed Nestle India to export Maggi noodles. The decision comes after the FSSAI said it had no objection to the company selling the product abroad. 9 variants of the product were banned in the country for being hazardous to public health. Meanwhile, the FSSAI and other respondents filed affidavits to oppose Nestle's petition seeking relief from the ban of Maggi products. In a relief to Telangana TDP MLA Revant Reddy, the Hyderabad High Court today granted bail to him and 2 others in the cash for vote scam. The court directed all 3 accused to furnish a personal bond of 5 lakh rupees each and 2 sureties of the same amount. Seeking bail, Reddy contended that it is a politically motivated case and he is being falsely implicated. Trinamool Congress MP Tapas Pal was granted bail by a district court in connection with his alleged shoot and rape remarks against opposition supporters last year. The court granted him bail on 2 surety bonds of 2,500 rupees each. The MP was charged for criminal intimidation, attempting to insult the modesty of women, and tried to provoke breach of peace. Now, despite strong opposition from China, India succeeded in bringing Pakistan under monitoring of the Asia-Pacific group. The decision will enforce UN sanctions against underworld Don Dawood Ibrahim, 2611 mastermind Zakir Rahman Lakhmi, and Lashkar-e-Toiba founder Hafiz Saeed. Earlier, during the meeting of the Financial Action Task Force in Australia's Brisbane, China stood by Pakistan, asking India to back off. India has been insisting that Pakistan should seize the assets of Dawood, Lakhmi and Hafiz Saeed, as all 3 are included in the UNSC's Al-Qaeda sanctions list. Now, in an escalation of Islamic State's attacks against Shia Muslims, a bomb attack on Houthi rebel leaders in Yemen left 28 dead. The group, which marked the first anniversary of the declaration of its caliphate in Iraq and Syria on Monday, has been ramping up its deadly attacks in Yemen. It recorded of brutality and barbarism is reaching even newer lows and is in fact even spreading its tentacles in other countries.
More violence in strife-torn Yemen. Close to 28 people were killed and 35 others injured in a car bombing in capital Sana'a on Monday night in an attack claimed by the Islamic State. The blast, which went off behind Sana'a's military hospital, apparently targeted a group of mourners. The Islamic State has already claimed responsibility for a number of bombings in Sana'a this month. The violence comes at a time when a Saudi-led coalition has been fighting Houthi rebels for months without any sign to end this war, especially after the failure of talks among Yemeni political parties in Geneva.
الذي حصل الساعة 11:30 ما سمعنا الانفجار عنيف بمعنى الكلمة. خرجنا نبشر ضررت البيوت كان يعقوا الناس فالسيارة هذا قالوا سيارة إيكو حطوها هنا تقريبا الساعة 8 أو 9 وهي مجنبة هنا.
Meanwhile, in another West Asian country, Syria, the Islamic State beheaded 2 women, the first instance of decapitating female civilians. Experts say that in view of the group adding more episodes to their gruesome incidents, the US needs to readjust its strategy towards it.
المملكة وحدها ولكن يهم في الواقع دول العالم كله لأن يعني مصدر تجاري وحساس ومصدر اقتصادي وتجاري وحساس جدا بالنسبة للعالم جميعا. جميع انواع القوات ترفض ان يذهب احد الى مناطق الصراع في العراق وسوريا. هناك عملية حصانة او حماية للشباب.
In 1 year since it proclaimed itself an Islamic caliphate in the Middle East, the Islamic State has captured major cities in Iraq and has made strategic gains in Syria. It is expanding operations in Saudi Arabia, Libya, Algeria, Yemen, Europe, Asia and the United States, while also seizing substantial territory in Afghanistan for the first time, wresting areas in the east from rival Taliban insurgents. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are some other international news and updates in Global Buzz. A suicide bomber targeted a convoy of NATO troops near the US embassy in Kabul today. 1 Afghan civilian was killed and 22 were reportedly injured in the blast. However, there were no casualties for NATO. Taliban claimed responsibility for the attack on Twitter. The latest WikiLeaks reports claim that the US National Security Agency wiretapped the communications of 2 French finance ministers, François Baroin and Pierre Moscovici. The two headed the finance ministry from 2011 to 2014. The website also claims that the ministers were targeted in an apparent bid to seek information on economic policy, exports and trade. Chinese Premier Li arrived in Paris on a 4-day visit to France. It is the first official visit by the Chinese Premier in nearly a decade. He is scheduled to deliver a speech at the headquarters of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and attend a ceremony of the France-China Business Summit. At least 45 people have been killed after a military transport plane crashed into a residential area in Indonesia's Medan city. The plane crashed shortly after takeoff with more than 100 people on board. Officials fear that the death toll could rise. A major rescue operation has been undertaken to look for survivors. Time now for us to take a quick look at what's been happening in the world of sports and Sports Beat. Australia will hold the first day-night test in November when they will meet New Zealand at the Adelaide Oval. The third and final match of the series will be played with a pink kookaburra ball. Cricket Australia Chief Executive James Sutherland has expressed hope that the idea will increase interest in the game. India's Rohan Bopanna and his Romanian partner Florin Merghea began their campaign at the Wimbledon Championships with a hard-fought win. They defeated Tim Smizek and Jiří Veselý in the first round of the men's doubles on Tuesday. Meanwhile, second seed Roger Federer will face Bosnia's Damir Zumur, while Andy Murray will take on Mikhail Kukushkin of Kazakhstan in the men's singles. Two-time champion Rafael Nadal will open his campaign against Brazil's Tomas Bellucci. Hosts Chile have reached their first Copa America finals in 28 years. In the semi-finals, the hosts defeated the 10-man Peru 2-1. The goal from Eduardo Vargas and Gary Alexis Medal's own goal helped Chile reach the final. Chile will play the winners of tonight's semi-final between Argentina and Paraguay. Guus Hiddink has stepped down as the head coach of the Netherlands within 10 months of taking charge. Hiddink had a contract until the end of Euro 2016. He began his second spell in charge in August. Hiddink lost 5 and won 4 of his matches of the 10 matches that he was in charge of. And that's all from us. Goodbye.